It's time to enter the drone zone with me, James Drone, aka Pure Ambient Drone. So hit that subscribe button, tap that bell, and get ready to synth on.
Hey there, Synth Drones. Welcome to episode number 111 of Midnight Synthesizer Talk with me, James Drone, the voice of synthesizers. Yeah, baby. Man. I was lucky enough to get the Typhon from Dreadbox in the studio and give it a test spin, if you will. Test drive, test play, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely blew away all of my expectations. I really did not expect this much power in such a tiny little box. The Typhon is just loaded with all kinds of power and effects and flexibility. It's just like an endless palette of sounds, and that's what I like. Now, this is a monophonic synthesizer by Dreadbox, and to my knowledge, as of this recording, it's the only one that I know of that actually has stereo out, meaning that you've got that stereo separation in the sound, including the onboard effect processors. Now, the reason why that's important to me is because I like the stereo spread of a synthesizer, and if I need it to be mono in a mix, then I can condense it down in the DAW mixing process. That's no problem for me, but having that option is very important to me. Now, the exciting thing about this synthesizer is that it is compact. It's this tiny little box that you can set anywhere in your studio because it fits just about any place. One of the negativities that I would give it is that it is USB powered. I don't like that, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. First of all, it's not a big deal for me to run a USB cable into the back of it, down into the connectors of the power outlet with an adapter that holds a USB cord. Okay, that's not a problem. I've got a lot of those laying around. But where I have my gripe is I like to connect all of my synthesizers via USB in order to let them play nicely MIDI-wise in my DAW. And that kind of kills that option when you're powering this thing over the power outlet, because that is the only way you can get it to go. And so there is no option for that I can foresee for MIDI out to the DAW, unless I'm just missing something here. Now, this isn't just the only synth that runs into this problem. You have the Roland Boutiques that also run on either battery or USB in their case. And I don't ever put batteries in a synthesizer, because I'm telling you, I would forget about them, something would happen, and I would get a battery leak, and it would just be a miserable day for me. In fact, when you look at some of the older synthesizers from Roland, like the Roland SH101, one of the biggest things you need to look for is, was there a battery leak in the battery compartment in the past? So to avoid that, I just don't put batteries inside of a synthesizer. And the Dreadbox Typhon doesn't have that option. Other than the power options that are really not much of a choice, I love this synthesizer. It has an incredible, big, fat, warm sound. I mean, the two VCOs on this mega synth, I'm going to call it a mega synth because I got to tell you, in my opinion, it is perhaps the best Dreadbox synthesizer, at least sounding, to date. Now, this is just my opinion. I've got to say they did a really great job with the flexibility. Here's what I like so much about this Dreadbox Typhon, and that is it sounds so different than any other synthesizer I have in my arsenal. And believe me, I've got a lot of synthesizers, but this one has a character all to its own. Now, of course, you know, as well as I do, that you can take just about any synthesizer that is VCO analog, okay, and you can pretty much match them up to another synth of similar characteristics and get a similar sound. Yes, that's true. But it is a rare thing when you pick up a synth such as the Typhon and you start just playing it and you immediately realize, hey, this is a different thing altogether. This is going to go into a mix without any problem. It's got a great warm sound. It has a smooth, creamy sound. And you know what? Sometimes I forget I'm playing a mono synth. This thing is a lot of fun. There is a bit of menu diving and a lot of clicking and a lot of scrolling through menus. If you want to get deep into this synthesizer, that could be a problem for some people. But if this is going to be the only synth that you have to deal with this problem, this should be the synth that you pick. And I don't like menu diving. I'm probably one of the biggest advocates against menu diving. I really don't like it. But for some reason, the Typhon makes it so easy that you really don't even realize you're doing it. Once you get into the presets and you start exploring them, it really isn't a big deal just to scroll through each one of the presets and to check them out. And I'm a preset scroller. I like starting points because presets give me an idea of exactly what a synthesizer can do and usually what it can't do, because if you can't find the preset, it's probably a good bet that that synth can't do what you're wanting it to do. That doesn't mean you can't make it do it. It just means that it's not an easy job, and that's why the presets weren't included. And so it's great to have presets to scroll through and check things out and find out exactly what this synth can do. And a lot of times, synth companies put some really cheesy garbage presets into their synthesizers. I don't think that this is the case with the Typhon. I'm really enjoying what the Typhon can do, what the presets are showing it can do, but the presets are very musical. In fact, if you want to call this a negative, you can, but I find it a positive. Workflow-wise, I find myself wanting to play around with the synth, the Typhon, because the presets are so enjoyable that I just get lost in them. Every single one of these presets are just begging you to turn those big fat knobs that are on the Typhon and explore every one of their sound aspects. And I got to tell you, there is some great choices to choose from on the Typhon synthesizer when it comes to knob twisting. And one thing that I got to tell you, us synthesizer people, we love to twist and push and slide all kinds of controls on a synthesizer. Now, the Typhon has this little window that isn't too bad to read. I can see it pretty well, even though I have to have reading glasses every now and then for my computer. And the Typhon screen isn't too bad. I can see it. It's very clear. And that's the good thing, is that you have a great clear display that isn't too bright. It's not blaring. The lettering is kind of small, but because it's so crisp and clear, I don't have any problem seeing it. So the layout of the Typhon is very intuitive. You have 8 knobs right at your disposal in the left side of the synthesizer. And then you have a menu knob, I call it the menu knob, over to the right side as you're looking down at the synthesizer. So on the left side, you got EG level, you've got resonance, you got cutoff. And now let me stop at the cutoff because it is a big, fat knob, and it's going to give you this great feeling as you turn and twist it. I love it when synthesizers make the cutoff one of the largest of the knobs you can turn because it's easy to find. You reach right for it. And then in the center of these knobs, you have the wave selection. And every one of these knobs turn nice and smooth. They have a really nice, high quality feel to them. The wave knob I find very interesting because as you turn it left or right or just spin it around and try to find what you're looking for, there are so many sweet spots that come by using the wave knob. And then there's this tune 2 knob, which tunes the VCO 2. And man, just having that right there where you need it, right underneath the wave, was a brilliant move because once you find the wave sound you're wanting, you can fine tune everything right there. Then you have the amp time and you have the filter time. And of course you have a volume knob that's easy to find. And you know, I do play with the volume knob a lot when I'm doing live jams, just so I can turn a synth up or down to bring it into a mix and out of the mix. Over to the right hand side, you have these 5 sliders. They do various things depending on the patch. You have 4 buttons. You have a play button because this thing has a sequencer. And I haven't really played a whole lot around with the sequencer simply because I like to tie these up, these modules to a MIDI keyboard. Preferably for me, I like to use the Key Step by Arturia because it is so simple to hook something up, select your MIDI channel, and run a sequence through it. It's just so simple to use, and when I'm trying these out, I can do it fast and quick. So I really haven't played with the Dreadbox's sequence yet, but from what I've heard from some of the demos of the presets, now this is another thing. When you scroll through the presets, you can click the play button, and you can get a demo of what some of these presets sound like via the onboard sequencer. So this is a lot of synthesizer with effects, with great sound in a small package. And if you need something for under $500, the Dreadbox Typhon is probably what you're looking for if a mono synth will help you out. That's my opinion on the Typhon. I will be having a full-blown sound demo coming out, perhaps even this week. Check it out here on my channel. Be watching for that. Leave a comment about this synthesizer or just say hello to me. Until next time, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell. But above all, keep calm and synth on.